I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. Am I live? Oh, I moved you over there. Usually up there. So that's probably going to be weird. That's probably going to be weird because I'll keep looking at the monitor. I'll be looking away from you. I just thought it'd be nice to change. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Thought it'd be cool to change the angle. Hey, sorry. There we go. Isn't that nicer? A change, because I looked at all the. Oh, come on now. That's good. You got good. Yeah. I know it's dark. Okay. Can anybody hear me? I can't tell. Yeah, I can see that I'm making a signal in the microphone. I didn't put out a post about this broadcast. I didn't mention it. I didn't do much of anything. So maybe no one will show up. That's okay. I got some hopefully, I noticed that the sound was not great last time, and that's because I had it around my neck and it was clicking and what have you. But most of the views are coming in. Most of the views are coming in from after the live anyway, and they're decently. I guess they're decently looked at. I guess they are. I don't really know because I don't like to look at any of my stats. I don't like to know. Oh, look, you lost the viewer. Yeah. Um. Let's just jump. I'm not going to read anything from my book today, but I will talk to you about the status. So we are closing it. We, the royal we, are closing in on the volume 4, but it may not actually be 4 volumes. I've been rethinking it as I peruse and look through what I've written, mostly on my phone, and I'm thinking, well, I may want to change the structure a bit. I may make it. I may stick with the 4 volumes. I may go with the 3. But one thing I'm pretty sure I'm going to change is the structure of. Whoa. You're like, oh, that's disorienting, Mike. How about that? How's that? Normally, I like top down angle. We got one viewer. That might be that might be you, Rich. I thank you for viewing, and if you love this broadcast, please hit the like. Um, anyway, I don't know how many chapters. One I looked in one book. It was like 40 chapters or so, something like that, and but I'm thinking of moving things around because one thing that's going on is let's tilt that up a little bit. Oh, that's better, hey? I know, really prefer the top down angle. Oh, we had two people and now they're gone because it's just so bored. I know it's pretty dark here. Yeah, it's winter in New Zealand where I live. The rest of you are probably enjoying, right coming right up to summer. Yeah. Anyway, I the thing is like the way the book's designed, each chapter is kind of its own thing. Um, and my original idea was to have like one page with a painting and the next page with writing. That didn't work out because some of the they're not really essays, but I'm calling them chapter. Each topic is more like me writing an essay on what I have to say about that particular issue. And I'm probably going to restructure it because what I was doing was I had all the technical stuff in one book, and I know you guys. Oh, you just want to know about technical stuff. I don't want to know about no philosophy. Yeah, you need to. you know? And I was talking to my associate about that the other day, and it's like when I was a kid, I don't know about kids these days, but when I was a kid, we didn't want to eat our vegetables, you know? We had to because, according to science or whatever, the vegetables are good for you. You need to eat them, you know? And so we were forced to eat our vegetables with our meat, and then we got our pudding, and I think that's what I'm gonna do to you too. Like, just gonna give you the meat in one book, the vegetable in another book, and the dessert in the next. But hey, I was a little bit better prepared. Landscape painting the tonalist way. Uh-huh. You know what's really, upsetting me is I can't find my Bob Rome book, and I hope I didn't loan it to a student. So here's the idea behind the landscape painting tonalist way. See? That's landscape painting inside out. Notice they're soft bound, about the same size. I took a lot of inspiration from this sort of format to create this book, which we just shipped book number 180 out to the world. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And I've had nothing but really great feedback on this. No one's come back at me and says, "Oh, I don't like that book. I didn't get anything from it." So I don't put ads for the books in the middle of the lives, but um, and then I grabbed this one because if you don't have this book, you can pick it up reasonably because it was very popular for a long time. And it's not. It's look. It's old. When did this come out? I mean, this brings back so many memories for me because this is books when I was a kid. Copyright 1958, 1953. What about this edition? It can't be for 73. Okay, I got 2 viewers. Somebody let me know if you can hear me. Say something in the chat. I don't bite. I don't bite. Maybe I have a question too. Anyway, look at this, it's hard for me to leaf through. It's in black and white. It's a lot of text. There's only a small color section, but Carlson. Look, this translates really well into black and white, actually. Hey, how you doing, Rich? I know I didn't even say to anyone I was going to be live, but I guess I was just assuming everyone would know that if I'm not going to be here on Friday, like I probably won't be here next Friday. I'm going down to Auckland again. Only this time, well, probably going to go to Costco, but I've got my oh, that's the other thing I was going to bring out. I was going to show you. It's so dark in here anyway. It doesn't really matter. I was going to show you what I've been working on with the series of new Northland landscapes. I'm going to be making some prints and doing frame prints and a bunch of stuff that I love paintings. You know, wow, look at this. He breaks it into 4. Way. He breaks it into 4. I know I have a really good setup here. There we go. It'll just look different, I thought also I have a chair over there. I might set it up over there. Anyway, yeah, 4, right? But what I was saying is this is a book you want to own. Rich, I'm sure you own a copy. I'm sure you probably bought it long ago. Mm. Now, I don't paint snow, but if I did, I would be really into this guy. Gosh, it's full of great stuff. It's a really great book. So, anyway, I am probably going to be doing something like this. It's going to be like 3 volumes. Hey, love that book. Paul. Who's Paul? John. Yeah. Yeah, I bet you do love that Carlson book because it's great. It's a really good book, even though it's old. And I was doing like an essay, a survey prior to starting the book I'm writing on now. Oh yeah, uh, yes. Paul Strick's book is really amazing, and yeah, that was certainly. I didn't bring it out here today, and hopefully I didn't loan that to some damn student. Oh, man, some damn student. Yeah, because what happens when you loan what happens when you loan books out? You don't get them back, and then you forget, and then a year or 2 down the road, you're going, "Where's my book?" You know? And then, of course, it's gone. Where's that student? I don't know. Gone. Um, yeah, so I have, like, I'm zooming in on the end of my big list of all these chapters and the structure I had. Now, the structure that I had was quite a linear sort of structure, and I work, funny enough, when I produce my paintings, I tend to work in a fairly linear way. I have my reference set up, and then I do the underpainting, and then I do the color pass, and if I'm going to do anything else to it, I do another color pass, and then I put a coating on it, and then we're done. We're doing another painting. But in my mind, I'm not necessarily that linear. I'm connecting things from here to there to there to there, and like kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, right? Like what was that? Pulp Fiction was like that. It was nonlinear, and there's a lot of value in a nonlinear approach, especially since, like I was saying, I'm gonna be interested in you guys having bad camera today. Yeah. So what do you like about Paul? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Striz Kicks book. I think I came across that in a used bookstore. Oh, that's what I was saying. I was doing a survey before writing this book, and the best books are really the old books. They're a lot more pure, and the problem is it'd be great if they could all be like updated with color. That's a bit of a downside, if you ask me. I think the color reproduction is great. Here's another book. I don't know about this guy, but his book is good. Okay? He's good. I like him. He's a really good painter. Oh my gosh. Now, I won't say I learned much from him. In fact, I don't want to paint this loose. He's very loose. I think I tried to paint loose, but this is really super loose. Not as loose, say, as Kevin McPherson. Actually, he can tighten things up, but I think a lot of times he keeps things loose, which is, I agree with that. You should be loose. You want to err on the side of loose. I don't know why I stuck all these umber Monday. Get some umber. Yeah, so um, like I said, I won't be here next week, but I am here now. And I do have some questions. I had my assistant prepare the same questions from last week. I'm sure you don't really care much about. Well, you might care much about the new book, especially since it's so like ephemeral to you. I have read bits from it, and I do think it's going to be a significant work um, for anyone interested in tonalist painting. It's designed to take what I did here in that like how to paint format and be a little more in depth. Really, that's what I'm on about with the new book. A lot more in depth and more text based. Although it'll be illustrated with my paintings, there'll be certainly be a physical edition that'll have lots of color reproductions in it. And then I'm very much leaning towards doing an electronic version that is just text driven. You can just pop in, and what's great, it's sort of designed. Each chapter is around 1,000 to 1,200 words. There's some that go a little longer, like chapter on composition. I could burble on about that all day because it's so critical, right? Um, Yeah, it's designed so you could just have it on your phone and go, "Oh, okay, I'll read a chapter right now there. Well, what Mike's got this. Oh, that's a good idea, Mike. I think I'll try that. I think I'll try that idea." Yeah, so I'm getting close to finishing my actual writing. Yeah, that's great stuff. Forming elements into groups instead of disconnected shapes. That's a great way to put that too. I'm always talking about that, and that's like one of the main things you see wrong with a lot of amateur paintings is they'll have this element, that element, the other element, but you got to form things in the group with elements related. A good way to think of it. Look, is that gonna? It's not blown out today. It's not too bright. Let's say you've got tree masses. Here's our tree mass. You know, you can have another element here, right? I think of it as like the island with the continent, that kind of thing. So you can bring your masses together into groups, and then you can have one little thing off on its own. But whereas if you have, that's going to make for some bad painting. That's no good. Yeah. If you didn't know that, now you heard it. You can put that into practice with your own work. Yeah, I know what you mean. Rocks, bushes, flowers. Right. But trees too, right? Or clumps of trees. Yeah, but certainly with rocks. Like that's real common with people when they're painting rocks. Yeah, just a couple rocks. No good. All right, let's ask a question. Rich, do you have a question? I'm sure you don't, because you probably heard everything I've said repeatedly. But you could come up with something. I know you're a smart guy. I'll wait for your question. He says, "You're my one viewer." But again, this goes out. This goes out. And then you get to see Uncle Mike in the flesh. I'm actually a pretty animated dude. I do prefer just having the painting going there and just talking over the top. That's what my channel's about. This live thing, it is what it is. It I think it's good because it's one of my things that I'm doing to kind of help build the channel up. People can see me and see what I'm about, and I'm trying to. Oh, yeah. Uh, I don't know if how much I've talked about it, but this is a good place. Um, so members area, yeah, I have noticed that people aren't spending much time there. I don't actually look at my member count either, to be honest, because I don't really like to see. I don't really, I want you to feel like you can come, you can go. It's not like I get people asking me to join their members areas all the time. I join very few. I have to say that I think all of the greatest content on my channel is in the members area, but there's an appetite these days for more instant sort of condensed education. People don't want to sit there and wait for some bit of information to come to them as part of a process. They're more interested in something like this book, right? That's why I've been selling these. This will tell you everything you really need to know to kind of get an angle on how I paint. It won't tell you everything, but it'll tell you everything critical. How's that? That's more clear. What? I don't know if you guys hear that heater. If you don't, I'm just going to let it run. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here's a question. Your book series, The Transcendental Landscape, delves deep into your philosophy. What was the most challenging chapter or concept to articulate and why? I'll tell you what, creativity itself. And this is really, really important because where the AI is pushing us as humanity is that if you want to be more creative, you're going to use the AI to up your game into stratospheric levels. And now, if you're not creative, though, it's quite interesting. AI can help you be more creative, but in a lot of cases, I've heard one person with their theory that it's designed to stamp creativity out of humanity, and I don't know if that's possible. I really don't. But one of the things I talk about I have a whole chapter on creativity, is that the way that I approach creativity is that I have this thing that I want to work on, and I hold it sort of in the center of my mind, and I try not to make it one thing or the other thing. I try to just see what what comes to it, what's attracted to it. And creativity is really very much based in bringing disparate things together, things that aren't necessarily related. You bring them together, and people go, "Whoa, that's super creative! Oh my god!" You know, and that's how you do it. I think you just you don't you pay attention to how you naturally link things up. Like these two things don't go together. Oh, do they? They do go together because in the morning you're probably like me. You got your phone and you got your coffee, so they go together. What about this and this? Keys and coffee. Less so. Definitely less so. But, so that was thank you for that, Eve. That was, probably it was challenging to write about because I had to really slow down my processes because this happens automatically, but I think I came up with a great description of it, but much better in the book, of course, in my reminiscence of what I'd done, right now. Yeah. We're cooking with gas. This is great content. I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah. Oh, you're active on both YouTube and Substack. How do you decide which content goes where? Well, I can tell you, and that's that members area thing I was starting to say. Sorry. Members area. First, we're going to put a pin in that. Yep. Mm, that's coffee in my mustache, in case you were wondering. Uh, Members area now has a corresponding blog post with a full transcript of it's not a full transcript, it's a cleaned up transcript that's readable. So, one of the issues I think is that you've got maybe a 2 hour, 3 hour video, and there might be nothing said for big old swaths of time. And let's face it, I am teaching, but I'm in there doing my job. I'm trying to make paintings happen. And so there's times when I'm just busy, I'm in the struggle. I'm working it out. And then I could throw you an insight here or there along the way. And the reason why the members area is so valuable and critical is because those insights are based on reality right there in the moment. So those are like super sharp arrows that are very penetrating. The thing is, like, they're spaced out. So you can scan the transcript now and you go, "Oh, he's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about this. Well, I'd like to see that. It's one of my issues." And I know everyone's worried about themselves and their own painting process and their own journey, and I don't have any issue with that. I don't see any reason why you should be more concerned with me and what I'm doing than yourself. That's not going to be the way reality works. If you're looking at my content, you're interested in upping your game, and I'm interested in helping you. The members area is a recording of mostly just recordings of my actual real time painting sessions. So I thought, well, okay, having the ability now to put that whole 2 or 3 hours, I have a little program on my desktop now that will help me do the transcription prior to it going up. Also, hey, I don't know, probably none of you looked at the latest blog posts. So I have a little hidden blog on my YouTube, but if you go to the Substack, it's all there because Substack lets you have the video, images, text all in one, unlike YouTube. Unfortunately, it's not 4K there, but you get the comprehensive experience. You get the full transcript, you get a summary of what was talked about, the video, the reference image, and a picture of my palette showing you all the colors that I used, right? And that is going to be, I'm going to try and put that actually in the videos now. And I've had to kind of back off on the midweek videos because it's added so much more work. I have to do double work. So what the question is, what goes on Substack and what goes on YouTube is both. It's a duplication. In one sense, you get a lot more with the YouTube membership because you have access to hundreds of thousands of videos because I just started with Substack. But I have been thinking about that, and there was this project. I'm sure maybe some of you remember last year I was working on some courses and talking about that. And then I launched the courses and it was maybe too expensive or people don't have money. I think people are really uh, having a hard time monetarily speaking since the pandemic. Some of us were able to feather our nest a little better than others. Not that I'm sitting pretty, but I was ready for things a lot better than some people. And then what came after that is like recession, inflation, all of us kind of getting squeezed. So, a lot of people just don't have a lot of extra do re mi. And the other thing, I was watching a podcast the other day, and I'm not complaining, but we've all been trained to free. It's free. Give us the free. And how is that? Well, all the tech rolled out. It's all being paid for by the investors, and they're interested in grabbing market share. So as a consequence, they've trained all of us. Hey, I don't want to pay, man. I got this free option here. I got this free option there. I got free. Give me the free. You know, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. And not only do I not want to pay, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't really pay. But some of you do, and I appreciate that. And a good way to think of the members area too is that you're just supporting me. It's like $6 a month, and if you've got like some value from my teaching and stuff, then you can do that. But obviously, do what you like. I do want to try and provide a lot of extra value though, so that it's more significant for people. More value means more information, and that you could use the live video more as a resource since you can target in and go around. And since the transcript will follow the order of the video, you could actually hone in. And as we're in the cusp of AI, future world, sci-fi world, I can easily envision in a year or two where I just turn loose my assistant on the entire channel. Right now, I have to do a lot of stuff by hand, but over time, as I have to do stuff by hand because I don't like what it comes up with. You know, there's a certain way I talk, and some people like it, some people don't. But I'm going to stick with that. I don't need some weird AI writing, and I really do appreciate what the AI does. But you have to learn how to work with it. To get your mostly you have to create the content. If you think it's going to create the content for you, it won't. It'll just create something kind of generic. But if you create the content, say, here, help me clean this up, help me edit this, help me make this more presentable and accessible to people, it's brilliant for that. And so at one point I can easily envision turning it loose on the whole members area. And oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say about this courses. I'm thinking on the Substack to put some extra value there. I think I'm gonna move those courses I was trying to sell last year there. Now, one I sent to Elaine. Oh, yeah, I have great advice for that, Rich. In fact, that was one of the questions that Eve suggested. Now my phone's off. The titling. Yes. Okay. Well, so I have two AI interfaces I've been using. One is kind of like for writers, and it's text-based only. And I have to use that because I have so many words flying around that the I have another place. It's called Sim Theory. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Um, Sim Theory has some great features. First of all, it lets you access any of the different models. Now you create your own agents like I have Eve, but I can run Eve using Claude or I can run Eve using Gemini. I am getting to my answer. Um, but also I have some functionality like I can have something on my desktop and I can show it to the AI and say, what do you think of this? And so this may not help you, Rich, but lately I have been I got a bunch of different ideas for titling, so this is just what I've lately been doing. I show it the image of the new painting, and I say, "Hey, you got a title?" The last one that's up on the channel, "Evening's Embrace." Yeah, what do I call it? "Tree by a Pond," which is a terrible title. I I'm famous for that. I got "Tree in the Field." The fact that galleries are like, "What? Tree in the field again?" Like, just buy the painting, man. Evening's Embrace is a brilliant title, and I got that from I pointed my Eve to the picture on my desktop. I said, "You got some ideas for some titles here?" And frankly, you could even do it with text. You could even describe the scene and say, "You got any ideas for a title for that?" Really so awesome because I've exhausted titles. Now, there's another thing I do. Oh, I don't have an yeah, here's another thing, and I did want to break this book out today. Yes. If you don't own this, you want it. You want it. You need it. Okay, well, you can steal titles. Okay, let's say I did a painting and now I'm looking for a title. Alexander Wyatt, September Morning. That sounds like a good title to me. Done. How about another one? Charles Harold Davis, Twilight. That's a great title. You can only use that a few times. Hillside Pines. Bruges Moonlight. Well, that's pretty specific. Forest Glen. Okay. So there's a zillion titles. White Pines at Dusk. That's gosh, that's a beautiful painting. Leonard Ochman. Let me show you that. Can I show you? Can you see that? Sorry, there's some glare. I'll try and get it. No glare. That's a bit. There we go. That beautiful painting. I don't know much about Ochman. Anyway, that's Reverie. Mix and match. Oh, and here, okay, Rocks in the Field. That's not a very good title. Charles Warren Eaton. I do have another bunch of ideas on the titling. Okay, here's a system. You got weather conditions, time of day, and then land features. So we can say storm over the paddock, or we can say, or not just time of day, time of year, uh, summer paddock, summer um, summer stream at dawn, this kind of thing. That's good for quite a lot of titling. I got 2 viewers, I got 2 likes. See, I like that. I feel positive because I have the likes. I feel like I'm earning the likes. My coffee's gone cold, but I left my thermal cup. I left my thermal cup at the studio. This is my home studio. Frankly, all I do here really right now is I store art. Um, and then do my lives. But I am going to be doing my getting into this framing print production thing. I'm working on a big series. I'm 3 in. I just done an amazing picture of Fongaray heads. Not really tonalism, but rich, good stuff. Not you, rich, but rich as in very rich imagery. And that's 3 in. I want to do 12. I'm going to have a show. But I'm also planning on making prints, so it's my grab. And then, of course, the real issue I have is I can make the stuff, but then I have to find a way to market it. And supposedly the AI is going to help you with that, but actually, it's good with ideas. Like this print thing is an extension of it prompting me to move into the prints, and I don't find the print making that I only have so much time, so I have to devote time and energy to that, which I have been doing. And money. I had to buy all kinds of bits and bobs. It's ink cartridges, rag paper, I plastic sleeves, foam backings, and then I'll have to buy framing and stuff too. But What's great about the prints, if you assuming you're at a level where you're making stuff that would be print worthy, um, you can just sell it and sell it. Of course, you've got to find the markets, but my idea is that I'm making stuff that I think could probably sell anywhere around here. So it's been pretty economically depressed in New Zealand. Getting back to what I was saying about the whatever, it's a kind of tough time for people. But, in fact, I've had students talk about, yeah, my heart is, yes, so many bad prints, but my prints are good. And this is one of the reasons I have a very nice, it was a $1,200 Canon Pixma printer with archival inks. They stand up to the quality of watercolor, like professional grade watercolors. I'm printing on the rag paper, so I'm creating something I know I can feel good about. But the thing is, I was working early on with a guy. He had a Live to Print was the name of his business, and then I just didn't like his color. I didn't like, I mean, the detail was fine. So there's two things: you got color, you got detail, and how your blacks look. The Canon will do it, but like a set of inks for this Canon printer cost me like $350 or something. It's a lot. But it gives me the ability to, like, if when I've worked with a printer and I'm not happy with the color, I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to insist on good color. And after a while, this was kind of the case when I was a professional commercial artist. I was the guy that would do the color proofing, which is a very important job because if the color doesn't match the comp, then the customer will come back and you say, "Oh, we don't have a contract anymore." Uh, I want that color right in there. And of course, the Canon's got 10 color cartridges, so it can capture a very wide gamut of tones. And I've been very pleased with the output. It's just a bunch of work. But once they've got the thing color corrected, and what I do, just in case you want to mess with it yourself, you can actually use just a, mid-grade, even inkjet printer. You can print on the rag paper. Those inks are pretty good. You can do it yourself, but I recommend you need a copy of Photoshop or Photoshop Elements or the Affinity photo program would probably work as well. I know it would work. I don't get in Affinity Photo very much, even though I recommend it to you guys. I recommend you guys because it's an affordable solution that does almost everything Photoshop does. But I've been in Photoshop for 30 years now. So I find it very exacerbating to work in another program. Anyway, you can get your prints. I print them small and work with the colors and then increase the size to where I'm headed. But one of the first prints I'm putting out is Poor Knight's Island. It's a really good painting. I'm thinking that's probably the one I'm going to put up on the channel this weekend. And yeah, I'm going to have a smaller print edition and then one that's just available as a print and then one that's framed, it's larger. And yeah, it's not easy. It's expensive, but I know how to do it. I have the technology, I have the skill set, and that is a great way, especially if you're now. What I would say, if the prints are looking ugly, a lot of times because the artwork look ugly. If you're don't worry about making prints unless you got to doing work that's at a professional level. And I'm not the best painter ever, but I've been at a professional level for quite a while, so I'm gonna invest some time and effort into the printmaking and into the show. And yeah, that's one of my things. But interspersed in that, like the last painting you saw, the Evening's Embrace, that was straight up tonalism. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that this week, but I think I'm probably going to lay one of these Northland scenes on you guys this week. Anyway, that's getting back to what I was saying. I have less because I'm doing so much more work. I have a full transcription for the live. The 15 minutes, I have a corresponding blog post and the Substack. It's the same sort of deal. It's all of the points that I hit in the 15-minute videos. And the 15-minute videos, I try and make them really rich with not you, Rich, with tips and insights, and that wasn't always the case. I remember back in the day, early days channel, you guys some of these videos. I go, well, I did this and that at the studio today, and you're like, well, but you're painting this thing. What are you talking about that thing? It's like I was just talking, kind of like I'm talking now. Yeah. That is a great question on the titling, though, Rich, and Eve agrees with you. That's a real challenge. That's one of my solutions. I've kind of exhausted my own internal supply and my wife's. So I really, really love being able to use uh, a program like Sim Theory. Now, Sim Theory costs maybe it's 15, $20 a month or something. And yes, it has a limited token count, but it has the ability to upload images, generate images. Also, it's going to be invaluable for when I'm getting very close. I'm just going to put all my book chapters in there and then start working with it to kind of massage things. And now we'll be into the crunch of I've been doing light editing, and of course, it's been acting as an editor. And how I've just for since we're talking about a lot of stuff that maybe isn't it's a painting adjacent, but um, you know, you got lots of content you can watch here on YouTube. You can either watch me or you can watch something else. But I think this is valuable for working with AI. It works really well. Yeah, very, very well. You would be very pleased. I've been so it's like I have 5 great choices here, so much so I just, like, save some of those, like, gosh, those titles are awesome. I could save those and use those for other paintings. I honestly don't care much about titles, but I know people do, and a good title is just gonna help add value to the painting. Evening's Embrace, that was a great title, and it came up with a bunch of other great titles I could have used as well. And what I really appreciate about it is that it's coming at it from a different place than I am. And so often when I'm working with the AI, it's able to come up with concepts and solutions that would have been outside my mind, and that's incredibly valuable. In fact, so let's say last night I'm working with it on a chapter, and there's an idea I'm trying to get across, and you guys know I talk. I'm a bit direct, and sometimes I can be a little harsh. I got nothing but love, and I got to say, any of you that are painting, you have my look, my hands on my heart. You have my absolute admiration. You are the vanguard of humanity as far as I'm concerned, because you're not just spending your time playing video games and doom scrolling. You're trying to make something, and it's not easy. And I'm here to help as best as I can. But where the AI is good is carving away. So, or I might have a troublesome sentence where I'm kind of repeating words, or I'm looping in on myself, and a lot of times, basically, I just give it what I've written, and then it will help structure it a bit. I have absolutely curtailed it and stopped it from adding things. I don't want it. You will probably overthink it. Rich, you should try Sim Theory. You might like it. You can just point it to the picture and have a look at it. There's also it's kind of similar to something called Huggy Face, or there's a few of these out there. I managed to just come across Sim Theory because I was researching solutions for my book writing project, and Sim Theory looked good, but at that time I didn't really understand what token usage was. I didn't understand a lot. I didn't realize, because I was using Gab, which is kind of like more just text. I had no limitations there, but I wanted that functionality of it being able to look at imagery, or being able to upload things into its memory, or being able to create an agent that remembered me. So every time you start a new session with the AI, it's like, hey, who are you? What do you want? You know? Yeah. Uh, if you think you'd overthink it, you just steal the titles from the American Tonalism book, Rich. That's a great one. I've done lots of that. And I used to worry a lot more about it. Actually, Rich, you kindly, very kindly, um, sent me that catalog raisonné of George Inness, which I love so much. It's gonna go into the coffin with me, if we get coffins in the future. And well, I don't know. I could disagree with you, but I appreciate your striving for excellence. Yeah, Rich said his paintings he hasn't been worth titling till recently, but yeah, you're certainly doing some amazing stuff now. But you've always been pretty good. I mean, you have a vision. And that's actually so much of what a lot of artists are missing is an internal vision. And I talk about that in my book, how to develop that. And the way to develop that is if you don't already have like when I came across tonalism, I was like, boom, that's what I want. And this most especially like Georgia Ness, that stuff really moved me. And I didn't say, oh, I want to be Georgia Ness, but I want to get that feeling in my work. And so I started working very hard on that. I had um, kind of a loose vision before that, but when something come along that corresponded with my interior vision, I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's what I wanna do." And you certainly have that, and your work's not strictly tonalism. It's really amazing work, I think. Anyway, yeah, good luck with the titling. And, steel titles getting back to the catalog raisonné. Okay, so at that time, I was trying to do an Annette study every week, and you can see all that stuff on the channel. There's a playlist, and that's amazing in the live area as well too. It's all there. Um looking at a painting and it's called Sunset, and then I discover that George Ness has 75 paintings called Sunset. From there on out, like I was always really stressing about repeating my titles, but I don't stress about repeating titles at all anymore because of that. And now it's just going to be a big pain in the rear end for some sort of conservator in the future or somebody use it looking at my catalog resume, if there is such a thing, going to be done for my work. Um, it's just going to be a big pain for them. But hey, that's tough. That said, though, now I have the technology and the ability to come up with some amazing titles easily. And it's like I love collaborating too. That's the thing. I appreciate good ideas. I don't care where they come from. If they come from my AI assistant, then I'm on board with that. I'm not so much into taking what the AI does and putting my name on it and taking credit for that um, because most of the time if you didn't generate the content and then have it help you make it better, the content isn't great. you know it isn't, because what it does is it basically associates words together, and it does it on a scale that's awe-inspiring. But I'll give you a great for instance, oldies radio, right? Now, I'm old. I've been alive for 60 years. I have a big catalog of songs in my head. And each of those years, like say from the 70s, there would have been 100 songs that were getting played quite often. But as we go traipsing into the future, um, those 100 songs aren't going to continue to get played on oldies radio. What they do is they call people up. They used to call people up. I don't know how they do it now. And they say, hey, what's your favorite song? And here's a good one, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Hey, it's a great song. I don't ever want to hear it again because this is one of the songs that survived. When did that come out? 67 or something? It's still getting played on oldies radio. So what happens is like enough people all liked that song that we keep hearing it. And there's a lot of songs like that. We need to go in. It's on a music channel, so I won't go too far into that. But you get what I'm saying. This is the problem with AI. If you're gonna In fact, really, here's another tip. It's on an AI channel, but instead of saying, "Hey, what's the answer to this?" say, "Give me 15 answers," and then you'll start seeing. So, give me 15 titles. And you know what, Rich? For your part, you could just ask for some random titles. Maybe say, "Hey, I painted a picture of a pastoral scene with a path, dappled path." Dappled path isn't a bad title either, really. Yeah. Um, yeah, is this good content? I don't know, guys. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. I do love and appreciate all of you very much, though. you know? And ooh, no, I'm not checking my phone. I'm looking for another question. Repurposing. Here's a good question. You've mentioned repurposing content. Can you share your strategy for transforming? No, I can't. Uh, because it's what it's talking about. And this is fascinating. Okay. Um, Yeah, the live videos. I've tossed a bazillion tips out here, but it's kind of interspersed with me, going off on the tangents and then coming back. And then, I can watch, it's not like I have 75 viewers or 100 viewers. I got three viewers. And a lot of those people are some of you going, well, was Mike going to say something that's actually going to help me? No, no, no. Bye. Not mad. I do the same thing. But there was great content in the live session. So one idea I had was that was too overwhelming because this is a solid block hour of me talking, and frankly, um, that's quite a lot of tokens. You'd be surprised, but it's very good for the live videos because you got a 3 hour session with just the insights. So yeah, AI is incredibly powerful for that. There is content there, and it's like panning for gold. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I didn't think I'd make it. We knew something was coming, but we didn't know it would be kind of like this. And 2 years ago, oh, it understands a sentence. What? Huh? And now we've got it like it just goes, "Plah," it just writes. It's like crazy. And the art it does, yes, it's kind of stayed. Mm. But I do like to use the AI art generation for some of my other projects just for fun. It's just fun. I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh, look at this thing I created with a sentence." But where I would have had no imagery, or I would have just borrowed some old image. I've got a kind of a nice new image, and I can use it, and it's great. It's wonderful. So we covered titling. Titling's a good one. Yeah, I'm absolutely. Oh, and I use it for video descriptions now. You notice there's a lot more richness, more rich. I using AI to make my life and content more rich. But I will give it the transcript of videos that come up with the description. And you guys know me. I was very much Mr. Mineral, chromatic black. I think we talked about this. Uh, yeah, I did own a tube of Gamblin's chromatic black. Do you like the chromatic black, Rich? I found it to be pretty similar to what I was doing on my own, which was mixing. Yeah, I like to say there's a brandy in this coffee. No, there isn't. I'm a teetotaler. Um, I would mix the alizarin crimson with phthalo green and get chromatic black. And the whole early part of my painting, I never used. Even when I brought in ivory black originally, I just brought it to make that green. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people like to do something similar with ultramarine and burnt umber. That's a lot of people's favorite dark. I did find the alizarin crimson phthalo green mix to be very similar to what Gamblin was doing with their chromatic black. It's a little better mixed together, but um, so the interesting thing about that is like you could push it a little red or push it a little green, and of course, phthalo green is so much stronger than alizarin crimson is a very strong color, but phthalo green is the most powerful. Yeah, bluer. Mm. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But if I want I don't really like my blacks to be very blue, to be honest. And that's one of the things I've been struggling with. I've just recently, I think I talked about it in the last video on the channel where I've managed to put a piece of cardboard over the top of the lens I'm using, and I'm getting much better results with, first of all, the glare on the painting, and second of all, the color. But one thing that was driving me crazy is that it was making all my shadows blue. I like my shadows to be fairly warm, you know. I like so when I'm mixing my shadows, I'm using Mars Black with burnt umber. That's my go-to. When I was using ivory black, I'm fairly happy with that because it's cool, but it's not overly cool. Um, and as you know, I'm using ivory black to make my Mike's gray, which is I treat like a blue in the sky all the time. That's a chapter in the new book. It's chapter gray instead of blue. That's the name of that chapter. And you wouldn't think, oh, what could he say about that? I got 1,000 words on that. Don't you worry about it. Um, Yeah, chromatic black can be very useful. If I I abandoned the phthalo green. Now I have the perylene black slash green that you put me onto, and I love that because mostly I just want to make a green mix from my Mike's green, a little cooler. It's brilliant for that. But it can't do. I don't think it could probably do a black. I haven't. I don't know. I'm very much into my this is the thing, once I turned my back on chromatic black, because I see that as kind of a modern thing, that and impressionists love that. They love to do their darks with a black that isn't black. Ivory black got such a bad name. And as ugly as ivory black can be, Mars black is way uglier. If you look at them on the palette together, it's like Mars black is kind of like, I'm kind of milky and muddy and sort of chalky, but it's opaque. And when I mix it with my burnt umber, sometimes I do add a little bit of ivory black. Compared to Mars black, ivory black is very beautiful, you know. But ivory black is a little bit transparent for my a lot of applications I want to do. That's why and I'm sure you've seen my videos, Rich, where I talk about my Mars black solution. But I like my shadows to be generally on the warm side more than cool. Not so warm. You're going, that's warm, but yeah, yeah, of course you do. It's potent. Um, and I think the nice thing about the chromatic black from the tubes, like one of the problems I would have in the old days is like it's a lot of work to mix it right up the center when you're bringing in the alizarin crimson with the phthalo green. Like I said, the phthalo green, the mix tends to want to go too green, and then you compensate with the red, and you're kind of in too red a territory. It was a lot of fiddling around. I've mentioned this on the channel. I was so happy to just, I was doing that. I was doing my chromatic darks, and I was taught that way. Who taught me that? You know who taught me that? Um, Freaking Kevin McPherson, Bob Rum, all these guys that don't have ivory black on their palette. Once I started using ivory black to make my green, I still was doing chromatic in the shadows. But then I thought, well, I'll just use ivory black. And then I thought, wow, this is tonalism. I'm finally getting it. I was getting close to the tonalism with the chromatics, but because they are kind of they have sort of a synthetic quality to me. Whereas the ivory black, I go, whoa, hey, that's the same black Rembrandt was using. And what do you know? Same black NS was using, same black that any of the guys I love was using. So, but I've modified that, like I say, with the Mars black these days because my frustration with the ivory black, first of all, the slow drying is a real problem, and then the thin, it's transparent. So what I like to do is actually make the Mars black a little transparent with my oil. That's the thing. I like to be able to put my shadows in nice and quickly and evenly, and I don't want them too thick. So I tend to add more medium there. And that's where I would be struggling a bit with that transparent nature of the ivory black, which is really, really transparent. You can glaze with ivory black. You can do some really neat things with ivory black. Mostly, you can make an awesome green with it by adding it to like a Gamblin's Hands of yellow, or use the cad yellow hue. I want to say PY73, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's been an hour going on it. I hope you got some value from this live session. I'll try and do a better job of announcing that I'm going to be on. And also, if you have questions but you're shy or you're not able to hit my time schedule, it's very easy to contact me through the website. And I am really friendly and helpful. Don't think I'm not. Anyone that's ever sent me a question on my email has got an answer. You can send me your paintings too. I don't mind. I will give you my opinion, and I'll be kind. I'm always kind. It's a struggle. Yeah. Yeah, hey, it's called New Zealand, man. This is as early as I could do it. And then, when I was looking into it, maybe it'd be better to do it at 9 at night. But, people have access to this now forever. So, you can tip in, tip out. But you can certainly send me a question via email. You could put a question in the comments of the live. Whatever. It's all good, and this just gives you a chance to relate to old Uncle Mike here. Rich, I appreciate being able to hang out with you. That's a definite plus. In fact, I'll show up just to do that, and everyone else can just kind of tune in. That's fine. And I think we had maybe 70 views. Now, the 70 view doesn't mean 70 views of people go, "What's he going to say next?" That isn't what 70 views means. 70 views, people go click. He's not saying anything I care about. Goodbye. Cracks me up. I love you guys. I appreciate you coming around. I'll keep doing this. I won't be here next week. So Friday, that won't be happening. Although maybe I am waiting for materials, so that might be an incorrect thing to say because I got to pull a lot of things together for this print project, and I got to make sure all the sizes jive. So I probably will be here next week. It'll probably be like uh, uh, where's the dang calendar? Oh God, this Windows 11 is just so freaking lame. All right. Yeah, no, I think I'll be here next week. It'll probably be the August 4th that I won't be here. So, anyway, till they come back with another live for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. And God bless you and your family. Thank you, Rich. And we're going to fight the power.